In this video, you'll discover the 7 warrior herbs that restore firm, natural erections, without pills, side effects, or false promises. What's failing isn't your body, it's the way you've been trying to reactivate it. Thousands of men take Ginseng, Maca, or Tribulus and still see no results. Because these herbs only work when used in the right way at the right time, inside a ritual that reactivates the body as a whole. That ritual was passed down for generations and forgotten. Today, you'll bring it back. A protocol rooted in tradition, backed by science and made to restore your power from the inside out. And by the end of this video, you'll discover the herb that becomes useless if taken at the wrong time, and how that mistake ruins everything else. Chapter 1. The hidden collapse that's slowly killing your erections. You wake up, look at your body, and feel that something has changed. It's not just tiredness. It's like your sexual system has quietly shut down. No warning, no explanation. But what's actually happening inside the male body after age 60? It all starts with testosterone. After 50, it drops by about 1% per year. That might sound small, but over a decade, it can mean a 30% decline. With less testosterone, desire fades, confidence disappears, and erections, they become a challenge. But testosterone doesn't fall alone. Nitric oxide, the compound that opens up blood vessels and lets blood rush into the penis, also drops. And when that happens, erections stop happening. Because if the blood doesn't flow, it doesn't matter how much you want it. Your body won't respond. And then comes the third enemy, the sneakiest of all, cortisol. The stress hormone. It rises when you sleep poorly, feel pressure, or carry the constant fear of failure. And when cortisol rises, it shuts everything down. It lowers testosterone, kills your libido, and blocks the erection system without you even noticing. These 3 factors, low testosterone, poor circulation, and chronic stress, form an internal collapse. That's why so many men, even those taking the right herbs, still see no results. Their bodies are blocked from the inside, and herbs alone can't break through that wall. There's only one way to reverse it. You need to reactivate all of these systems at once, with the right protocol, in the right order. The same strategy used by men who, throughout history, never accepted the loss of their virility. That ancestral secret is what you're about to reclaim. Chapter 2. The ancient ritual that restored real erections without pills. Picture a warrior returning from battle, covered in dust, exhausted. But before sleep, he has a sacred duty: restore his body for the next day. And part of that ritual was keeping his virility intact. Because for him, losing potency meant losing honor. That's why he didn't just take a single herb. He followed a protocol. It wasn't a treatment. It was a ritual of strength maintenance. In ancient China, monks and soldiers combined ginseng with breathing techniques and meditation to stimulate circulation and sharpen focus. In the Andes, Incan warriors were only given maca before their hardest battles, and again, before reuniting with their wives. Among the Tupi and Guarani in Brazil, young men learned to brew Catuaba during their initiation into manhood. And in India, kings would drink Ashwagandha with warm milk before bed, to rest like kings and wake up like gods. These rituals followed 3 sacred rules: combine the right herbs, respect the body's natural timing, repeat with consistency until the body responds again. It wasn't about treating symptoms. It was about restoring balance between desire, blood flow, energy, and recovery. The entire system worked together. And when that happened, erections came naturally, as a side effect of true inner balance. Today, science confirms what those men already knew centuries ago. Studies show that combining the right herbs at the right time gives far better results than using them in isolation. What most men lack today isn't willpower. It's understanding. It's the logic behind male potency. It's the ritual of virility. And that ritual begins with the same root that Tibetan monks used to survive freezing altitudes and still wake up ready to fight and to love. Let's talk about ginseng. Chapter 3. Ginseng, the root that brings back morning erections, backed by science. For centuries, Tibetan warriors crossed frozen mountains at high altitudes, places that weaken the body. And yet they kept their strength, their focus, their virility. Their secret? They carried small roots of Korean ginseng and drank it every morning on an empty stomach as part of their daily ritual. It's what prepared them to endure cold, fatigue, and to keep their erections as a symbol of total vitality. In ancient China, emperors also used ginseng before meeting their concubines, not because it was trendy, but because it worked. Today, science explains what they once did by instinct. Ginseng increases nitric oxide, the compound that expands blood vessels and drives blood into the penis. At the same time, it boosts testosterone and lowers cortisol. It's like it pushes your body back into virile mode. No forcing, just reactivating your natural erection systems. That's why many men report something very specific when they use ginseng the right way: the return of morning erections. And that's not just a detail. It's the first sign that your body is working again, like it used to. If your dysfunction is mild or you wake up without energy or without erections, ginseng is the ideal place to start. But timing is everything. For real results, take 400 milliliters in the morning, on an empty stomach. That way, ginseng works alongside your natural testosterone peak and sets the tone for the entire day. But this is only the first gear. The true fuel of libido comes from a sacred root of the Andes, once given to warriors before their bloodiest battles. Let's talk about Maca. Chapter 4. Peruvian Maca, the forgotten fuel for rock-solid erections. In the frozen highlands of the Andes before every great battle, Incan warriors had a mission: to drink a preparation made from a sacred root, dark, potent, and nearly impossible to grow outside that altitude. Its name, Maca. But it wasn't just food. Maca was a symbol, a sign that the man was ready to fight, to conquer, and to ensure that when he returned home, he could continue his lineage with strength, fertility, and full erections. Today, this same root is studied and used by men who have lost their desire, men who no longer feel connected to their own bodies, who still love, but no longer feel the drive, and often can't maintain a full erection. The reason? Silent and internal. The hormonal axis that controls libido and erections has been shut down. Maca works directly on that axis, the HPT axis, hypothalamus pituitary testes. It boosts natural testosterone production without imbalance and also improves sperm quality, energy, and mood. Its power lies in machenes and macamides, bioactive compounds that reprogram your sexual energy. They reignite interest you thought you had lost, along with the strength to sustain a solid, consistent erection. That's why Maca is perfect for men without a physical issue, but who feel their fire has gone out. They don't want it anymore. Don't pursue it anymore. But deep down, they know something's wrong. And unlike artificial stimulants that push the body, Maca rekindles the fire from within, naturally, deeply, consistently. For real results, the recommended dose is between 1,500 and 3,000 milliremes per day, preferably in the morning, alongside ginseng, just like the warriors did. And with that, you already have 2 essential gears of your erection system working again. But what if the problem isn't desire? What if you feel the urge but your body doesn't respond with strength? That's where the Roman soldiers' reinforcement comes in. Let's talk about Tribulus. Chapter 5. Tribulus, the natural booster that restores your sexual power. Before a military campaign, Roman soldiers didn't just sharpen swords and adjust armor. They drank a bitter, strong-tasting plant with a reliable effect, not to treat wounds, but to prepare their bodies and virility for the long road ahead. That plant was Tribulus terrestris. And it wasn't only the Roman army that knew its power. Civilizations in India, Greece, and North Africa also used this herb to keep men ready, physically, mentally, and sexually. Today, science confirms why it worked so well. Tribulus stimulates testosterone production through the luteinizing hormone, LH. That means it doesn't supply testosterone artificially. It sends a signal to your brain so your body can start producing it again naturally. That also means it doesn't cause dependency. It doesn't shut down your hormonal axis. On the contrary, It reactivates the virility engine. And once that engine is on, your body responds. More strength, more erection hardness during sex, more intensity when it matters, more control from start to finish. That's why Tribulus also found its way into the routines of athletes and fitness-focused men, because it boosts both physical power and sexual performance. But its most impressive effect shows up in men with constant fatigue, weakness, and trouble maintaining solid erections. Men who feel the desire, but realize the strength isn't there. For these cases, Tribulus is the missing spark, the natural trigger that turns everything back on. The ideal dose ranges between 500 and 1,000 milligauss per day, ideally split between morning and afternoon. And when combined with Ginseng and Maca, the body starts to remember something it had long forgotten, what it feels like to have powerful erections again. But sexual power doesn't start in the body alone, it begins in the mind. And that is where the sacred tonic of the Brazilian tribes comes in, reserved for the mature men of the village. Let's talk about Catuaba. Chapter 6, Catuaba, the indigenous secret for firm erections and mental control. In the quiet rituals of the Tupi and Guarani tribes, there was a moment every young man waited for, the transition from youth to full manhood. And at the center of that ritual, one drink was sacred, Catuaba tea. This elixir, made from the bark of trees deep in the forest, wasn't just a cultural symbol. It was a real tool for physical, emotional, and sexual activation. It was believed that by drinking it, a man awakened an inner force, and with it, the ability to maintain his erection firm, strong, and natural, like a true protector of the tribe. Today, science confirms what tradition already knew. Catuaba increases blood flow to the genital region, enhancing sensitivity and physical response. The effect is direct. More erections with more firmness, more control, and more pleasure. But the true power of Catuaba goes beyond circulation. It works where many men stumble, in the mind. How many times have you felt an erection start and then vanish? Not because you didn't want it, but because of anxiety, tension, or fear of failure. That's where Catuaba shines. It calms without sedating. It lowers cortisol, slows mental chatter, and creates the space your body needs to become aroused, without resistance. That's why it's especially helpful for men who struggle with weak or short-lived erections, when the body wants to perform. But the mind gets in the way. Men who feel desire, but lose control at the critical moment. Taken at night, Catuaba prepares both body and mind for a different kind of experience, an erection that rises naturally, with confidence and presence. It connects ancestral ritual with modern need. It turns tension into potency. And when combined with Ginseng, Maca, and Tribulus, it can elevate your erection to a level you may have forgotten was possible. But desire, energy, and focus still aren't enough, because none of it works if blood doesn't flow freely. And the key to unlocking that flow comes from a tree that has survived entire eras and now protects your circulation better than any other natural ally. Let's talk about Ginkgo Biloba. Chapter 7, Ginkgo Biloba, How to Unlock Blood Flow and Regain Strong Erections. Ginkgo Biloba is often called the most resilient tree in the world. It has survived ice ages, earthquakes, even bombings, and it still stands tall. Perhaps that's why the sages of the Tang dynasty revered it as a symbol of longevity and mental clarity. But what they truly sought in this plant was something more specific: male vigor. Ginkgo was used in secret formulas by Chinese healers to restore not just the mind, but also the virile body. And today, science confirms it. This plant has the power to increase blood flow throughout the body, especially in key areas involved in erections. When circulation is compromised, due to age, sedentary lifestyle, poor diet, or chronic stress, blood simply doesn't reach with the strength it should, and the result? Soft erections, incomplete erections, erections that vanish too soon. Ginkgo changes that. It gently opens the blood vessels, improves continuous blood flow, and delivers blood powerfully to the penis. And not just there. It also activates the brain, sharpens mental clarity, and enhances focus. Two essential ingredients for turning desire into action. and action into erection. Men who suffer from cold hands and feet, mental fatigue, or low energy almost always have poor circulation, and that's often why their erections fail. But when ginkgo enters the picture, everything starts moving again. The body warms up. The response improves. And most importantly, the effects of the other herbs are amplified. Because now the pathway is unlocked. It acts as a biological unlocker. It opens the channel so the erection can happen as it should. The ideal dose ranges from 120 to 240 mg per day, usually split into 2 servings. And when included in a complete protocol, ginkgo transforms what once felt like effort into natural flow. Now, with 5 active pillars, desire, energy, firmness, focus, and flow, there's only one missing, the activator of the final erection command. The plant that mimics Viagra, without the side effects. Let's move forward. This is the turning point for many men who had already lost hope. Chapter 8, Horny Goat Weed, the natural Viagra without side effects. It all started with a Chinese shepherd centuries ago who noticed something odd about his herd. Whenever the goats ate a certain plant from the hills, they became intense. Very intense. To the point that they wouldn't stop for a second. Intrigued, he brought the plant to a local healer. And that is when the name was born, a name that lasted for generations. Horny Goat Weed. What seemed like just a rural curiosity turned out to be one of the greatest natural discoveries for male sexual health. And not by chance. This plant contains a compound called Erection, which acts as a natural inhibitor of the PDE5 enzyme, the same mechanism used by the famous blue pills. But with one major advantage: no side effects, no headaches, no blood pressure spikes, no racing heart. What you feel is something entirely different. Firmer, longer-lasting, more reliable erections. Horny goat weed is ideal for men who have tried everything: diet, supplements, workouts, and still fail when it matters most. Men who can start, but can't maintain an erection until the end. This plant targets the most delicate part of the process: erection stability. It prevents blood from escaping too early, maintains internal pressure in the penile chambers, and ensures the erection not only happens, but stays strong throughout the entire act. It's like flipping a switch that had been turned off. Only this time, it happens gradually, safely, and with lasting results. Day by day, your body responds with more firmness, more control, more confidence. The ideal dose ranges from 250 to 500 ml per day, with standardized extracts of Erection between 10% and 60%. And most importantly, when combined with ginkgo, ginseng, maca, and the other pillars of your protocol, horny goat weed completes the cycle of natural erections. But there's still one final, and often ignored, piece. Most men overlook it, and that's why they fail again, even when everything else seems right. Because when your erection fails without a clear reason, it's usually your mind that's exhausted. And for that, there's a plant as powerful as it is calming. Let's talk about ashwagandha. Chapter 9. Ashwagandha, the anti-stress plant that restores your erections. In ancient India, kings and generals who ruled empires had a secret to keep their minds sharp, their bodies ready, and their virility intact. Before bed, they drank a sacred infusion, ashwagandha. This root, whose name means strength of a horse, was far more than a calming herb. It was a biological shield. It protected the body from internal wear. And it helped masculine potency not just survive the passage of time, but grow stronger with it. Today, science calls that effect cortisol regulation. And if you constantly feel tired, tense, sleepless, or anxious about performance, your cortisol is likely sabotaging your erections. Every single day. Even when desire is present. Even with good food and a healthy routine. If cortisol is high, the erection doesn't happen, or disappears without warning. That's why ashwagandha is essential. It doesn't stimulate like coffee. It doesn't force like a synthetic stimulant. It reorganizes. Gradually, your body understands it's safe. It can lower its defenses. It can re-enter sexual mode, without fear, without tension, with real confidence. That's when your sleep improves. your energy comes back, and the erection, once weak or unreliable, returns with more strength, control, and natural rhythm. Ashwagandha is ideal for men who finish the day exhausted, even without physical effort. For those who wake up tired, for those who try, but feel like the mind blocks the body's response. It's the plant of silent recovery, working while you sleep, preparing your system to perform with strength the next day. The recommended dose is 300 to 600 milliliters per day, ideally at night before bed. And when combined with the other pillars, it becomes the final stabilizer of lasting erections. Now, with all 7 pillars activated, desire, testosterone, circulation, firmness, focus, sensitivity, and hormonal balance, there's just one thing left: knowing how to use it all correctly. Because if you get the order, timing, or combinations wrong, you could lose all the effect. And that is exactly why I'll show you how to build your personal ritual, step by step. Chapter 10. How to build your natural erection ritual in 3 simple steps. Now that you've discovered the 7 herbs used by warriors, kings, and men who never accepted the loss of virility, the question is simple. How do you turn all of this into a ritual that works in your body every day? The answer lies in the order, in the consistency, and in the wisdom to combine without overdoing it. The first rule is clear. Don't try to take everything at once. Your body needs rhythm, not shock. Smart sequencing, not overload. Start with your morning routine. This is when your testosterone is naturally highest. It's the best time to activate circulation, energy, and desire, and to get your erection system moving early. Here's the ideal lineup. Korean ginseng, to stimulate nitric oxide and boost your drive. Peruvian maca, to reinforce your hormonal axis. And if you wake up low on energy, Tribulus terrestris as a natural power boost throughout the day, your body keeps absorbing. But by late afternoon, or right before sex, it's time to intensify. That's when you introduce Horny Goat Weed for firmer, longer-lasting erections, Ginkgo Biloba to increase blood flow and sharpen focus, and if stress built up during the day, Catuaba to calm the mind and support physical response at night. Your body switches to repair mode. That's when ashwagandha takes over. Taken before bed, it lowers cortisol, improves sleep, and reactivates your erection commands, silently, deeply, and powerfully. But none of this happens overnight. Your body needs time to relearn. That's why the minimum cycle is 14 straight days. That's how long it takes for the body to reconnect its systems, unlock its commands, and begin responding with strength, desire, and control. Older men, more sensitive individuals, or those with more advanced dysfunction may need dosage adjustments, strategic pauses, or a slower start. And that's okay. This ritual is flexible. It's yours, designed to match your rhythm, your reality, your journey back to true erections, firm, confident, and lasting. And this ritual? It doesn't end here. In fact, it opens the door to the next stage. Because now that you understand what your body needs, and you know how to activate each command, the next question is, how do you boost these effects even further, with nutrients that fuel your potency from the very first minute of the day? Let's continue. Bonus 1. The 3 essential nutrients that supercharge your erection protocol. You can use the best herbs in the world. You can get the timing right, follow the perfect sequence, and stick to your ritual. But if the biological foundation is missing, your body stalls, and erections simply don't happen the way they should. That's why, if you want to unlock the full power of these herbs, and keep your erections firm, consistent, and natural, you need to focus on 3 silent allies: vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc. These nutrients don't act like stimulants. They don't trigger desire directly, but they prepare the biological foundation. And without that fertile ground, no formula can work fully. Vitamin D regulates testosterone production. Without it, your hormone levels crash, even if you're doing everything else right. It also enhances the sensitivity of receptors in the testes, helping the body respond to sexual signals. The best source is sunlight, but most mature men are deficient. The ideal supplement dose ranges from 2,000 to 5,000 IU per day, always in the morning, alongside healthy fats. like olive oil or avocado. Magnesium works on your blood vessels. It allows blood to flow freely, reduces tension, and improves erection firmness. It also helps lower cortisol, balancing your emotional state, which is essential for safe, confident performance. The ideal dosage is 200 to 400 milligrams at night, preferably taken with ashwagandha. Zinc is the direct fuel of male virility. It supports sperm production, protects the testes, and strengthens erections on a cellular level. Men with zinc deficiency often experience low libido, reduced semen quality, and difficulty maintaining firmness. The ideal dose is 15 to 30 milligrams per day, best taken in the morning or early afternoon. When combined with the 7 herbs you've already learned about, these 3 nutrients act as natural amplifiers. They don't replace anything, but they unlock the full power of your protocol, and the results are noticeable. More energy, more spontaneous erections, more firmness, more confidence, but it gets even better. Because there's a practical way to start your day by activating all of this in just a few minutes, with a recipe used by men who take this ritual seriously. Let's go to the next step. Bonus 2, morning shot for strong erections. 4 powerful natural ingredients. Not every day needs to start with coffee. If you're on the path of full reactivation, some mornings call for something else. A direct activation, fast, natural, just like the ancient warriors did, with a bitter, hot, purpose-driven preparation. This is the morning erection shot. Simple to make, and powerful from the first sip. You only need 4 ingredients. All natural, all proven to boost circulation, metabolism, and desire within the first few hours of the day. 1 teaspoon of fresh grated ginger. 1 teaspoon of Maca powder, juice from half a fresh lemon. A pinch of cayenne or black pepper. Mix it all in a cup of warm water, never boiling. Drink it on an empty stomach right after waking. Feel the heat rise. Ginger opens your vessels, warms the body, and stimulates digestion. Maca reactivates the hormonal axis, boosting desire throughout the day. Lemon supports liver function, detoxes the system, and improves nutrient absorption. Pepper boosts everything, speeding up metabolism and enhancing blood flow. This shot isn't just a supplement. It's a signal, a direct command to your body. Today, you're in control. On days when you want to boost the effects of your ritual, or when you feel you need extra activation, this drink can even replace a light breakfast. It's fast, effective, and fully aligned with the herbs and nutrients you're already using. And when used strategically, it helps erections appear earlier, stronger, and more frequently, especially those that happen upon waking. The first sign that your body is activated, balanced, and in the right mode. But if you want even deeper, more consistent, and lasting results, you need direction, a plan, a full cycle. And that's exactly what's coming next. Bonus 3, 30-day plan for solid erections without medication. Now that you've got the tools, there's just one thing missing: strategic discipline. Because knowing what to take isn't enough. You also need to know when, how, and how often. That's exactly what this 30-day ritual delivers. A daily plan built for real men, with different routines, different sensitivities, and one common goal: to restore sexual potency progressively, safely, and sustainably. In the first 7 days, the focus is light activation and body adaptation. You'll start with reduced doses of ginseng, maca, and ginkgo, taken only in the morning. Nothing intense. Just enough to wake up the system and get the flow going. In the second week, you introduce Tribulus and Horny Goat Weed at strategic times. One before lunch, the other before light physical activity or late afternoon. At this point, erections begin to appear more frequently, firm, controlled, and natural. Starting from day 15, you enter the stabilization phase. You'll feel more energy, faster responses, and confidence returning. Here, ashwagandha becomes essential. Taken at night, it lowers residual stress, improves sleep, and boosts testosterone production during the night, the body's natural repair window. But most importantly, this plan is not rigid. It's adaptable. If you have high blood pressure, focus on using herbs during the day and avoid peak blood pressure hours. If you suffer from insomnia, Emphasize your nighttime routine, ashwagandha, magnesium, and catuaba, to create a physiological environment where your body can rest and morning erections can return. If you're diabetic, focus on circulation, and Ginkgo Biloba becomes a daily essential. You can create 5-day cycles with 2-day breaks, or go the full 30 days straight, adjusting doses as your body responds. What truly matters is consistency, because there's no magic pill, there's rhythm, there's smart repetition, and there's the real recovery of male potency, built with intelligence and maintained with respect for your body. And now, with this ritual in hand, you're one step away from locking in a complete transformation in your intimate life. Because if you've come this far, one thing is already clear. Your erection is no longer tied to your age. It depends on the right choice. And you've just made that choice. If you've made it this far, it means you're ready for more. And the next video is already waiting, packed with practical tips, powerful insights, and real solutions. Click now and keep going on this journey with me.